Lights up, music fades in, not your average fanfare. This is serious, poignant. We open on a blur, a kaleidoscope of chaos, cars twisted, sparking, engulfed in flames. It's the dark side of Formula One, the ever-present risk hidden beneath the surface of speed and glamour. This is the top 10 worst accidents in Formula One history. The 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix. It was meant to be just another race, another battle for championship points. Then turn 3, lap 1, everything changed. Romain Grosjean on the edge of the midfield pack touches wheels, a racing incident, a tangle we've seen 1,000 times before. But this was different. Grosjean's Haas spears off the track. The nose of the car a missile aimed directly at the unforgiving steel barrier. The impact is deafening, a sickening crunch of carbon fiber and metal. Then, the flames. A fireball erupts, engulfing the car, the barrier, the screen itself. For 28 seconds, the world held its breath. Grosjean's walk from the fire will forever be etched in F1 history, a symbol of survival against all odds. Valencia 2010, the European Grand Prix. The Valencia street circuit, a tight and twisty battleground, was the stage for one of the most spectacular and terrifying accidents in recent memory. Mark Webber, at the wheel of his Red Bull, found himself a passenger in his own nightmare. Webber, caught in the midfield melee, clipped the back of Heikki Kovalainen's Lotus, launching his car skyward. The Red Bull, transformed into a projectile, soared through the air, a terrifying ballet of carbon fiber and spinning wheels. The impact when it came was sickening. Webber, miraculously unharmed, emerged from the wreckage, shaken, but otherwise okay. The image of Webber's airborne Red Bull, frozen in time, would become an iconic reminder of the ever-present danger of Formula One. Silverstone 1999. The British Grand Prix, a race steeped in history, a proving ground for champions. Michael Schumacher, the reigning world champion, the master of his craft, was at the peak of his powers. But even legends are not immune to the cruel hand of fate. Schumacher, locked in a fierce duel with Mika Häkkinen, pushed his Ferrari to the limit. Then, disaster struck. Approaching the high-speed Stowe corner, Schumacher's rear tire failed, sending his car spinning off the track at over 150 miles per hour. The Ferrari, a scarlet blur, slammed into the tire barrier with bone-jarring force. The impact was sickening, the silence that followed even more so. Schumacher's crash sent shockwaves through the sport. Chapter 4. Jules Bianchi, A Race Against Time. Suzuka, 2014. The Japanese Grand Prix, a race run under a brooding sky, a sense of foreboding hanging in the air. The rain, relentless and unforgiving, transformed the circuit into a treacherous ribbon of asphalt. Jules Bianchi, a young driver with a bright future, found himself fighting for control of his Marussia as the rain intensified. Then, the unthinkable happened. Bianchi, aquaplaning off the track, collided with a recovery vehicle attending to another incident. The impact was sickening, the silence that followed deafening. He was airlifted to the hospital, his life hanging in the balance. On July 17, 2015, Jules Bianchi succumbed to his injuries, his light extinguished far too soon. The halo device, a direct result of lessons learned from his accident, would become mandatory in Formula One. Chapter 5. Niki Lauda, Return from the Inferno. Nürburgring, 1976. The German Grand Prix, a race run on a circuit feared and revered in equal measure. The Nordschleife, a monstrous 14-mile beast of a track, was a test of man and machine like no other. Lauda, the reigning world champion, the calculating professor of speed, was locked in a fierce battle for the championship with James Hunt. But on that fateful day, the Nürburgring would demand a heavier price than championship points. Approaching the fast left-hander at Bergwerk, Lauda's Ferrari snapped out of control, the rear end stepping out with terrifying speed. The Ferrari, engulfed in flames, slammed into the barrier, bounced back onto the track and was struck by another car. Lauda, trapped within the burning wreckage, inhaled toxic fumes and suffered severe burns. Against all odds, he survived. Just 6 weeks later, he was back behind the wheel, his face still bearing the scars of his ordeal. Lauda's crash at the Nürburgring became the stuff of legend. Chapter 6. Gilles Villeneuve, the Flying Canadian. Zolder, 1982. The Belgian Grand Prix, a race overshadowed by tragedy. Gilles Villeneuve, the swashbuckling Canadian, the darling of the Tifosi, was a driver who lived on the edge, his every move a symphony of controlled chaos. Villeneuve, frustrated by a slow-moving car ahead, attempted a daring overtaking maneuver. As he pulled alongside, his Ferrari touched wheels with the other car, sending it spinning into the air. The Ferrari, transformed into a projectile, soared through the air, a terrifying ballet of carbon fiber and spinning wheels. The impact, when it came, was sickening. Later that evening, Gilles Villeneuve succumbed to his injuries, his light extinguished far too soon. Villeneuve's death sent shockwaves through the motorsport world. Chapter 7. Ronnie Peterson, A Promise Unfulfilled. Monza, 1978. The Italian Grand Prix, a race synonymous with speed, passion and tragedy. Ronnie Peterson, the Super Swede, was a driver on the cusp of greatness, his smooth driving style and undeniable talent marking him out as a future world champion. The start of the 1978 Italian Grand Prix was chaotic, a tangle of cars vying for position. Peterson, starting from the middle of the pack, found himself caught in the melee. A chain reaction triggered by a stalled car sent a shockwave through the field. Peterson's Lotus was caught in the maelstrom, slammed into the barriers, and engulfed in flames. Complications arose overnight, and despite the best efforts of the medical team, Ronnie Peterson succumbed to his injuries. The motorsport world was in mourning, a rising star extinguished far too soon. Chapter 8. Ayrton Senna, The Day the World Stood Still. Imola, 1994. The San Marino Grand Prix, a race forever etched in motorsport history, a weekend that began with a shudder and ended in unimaginable tragedy. Ayrton Senna, the three-time world champion, the icon, the legend, arrived at Imola with a heavy heart. The weekend had been marred by accidents. Rubens Barrichello's horrific crash during practice, followed by the death of Roland Ratzenberger during qualifying, cast a pall over the paddock. Senna, visibly shaken, questioned the safety of the circuit, his premonition a chilling foreshadowing of what was to come. On race day, the tension was palpable. Senna, starting from pole position, led the early stages of the race, but on lap 7 as he approached the high-speed Tamburello corner, disaster struck. Senna's Williams veered off the track at over 190 miles per hour. Ayrton Senna, the man who transcended motorsport, was gone. His death, a catalyst for an unprecedented overhaul of safety regulations, ensured that no driver would ever again pay the ultimate price in pursuit of their dreams. Chapter 9, 1955 Le Mans, a shadow over motorsport. Le Mans 1955, the 24 hours of Le Mans, a race synonymous with endurance, speed and the allure of victory. But on June 11, 1955, the Circuit de la Sarthe would bear witness to an unimaginable tragedy, one that would cast a long shadow over motorsport for decades to come. Pierre Levey, a respected French driver, was at the wheel of his Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR, battling for the lead in the world's most prestigious endurance race. Levig's Mercedes, attempting to avoid a slower car, clipped its rear, launching the Mercedes into the air. The car, transformed into a deadly projectile, soared over the barriers and into the packed grandstands. The impact was catastrophic. 83 spectators lost their lives, and hundreds more were injured, many seriously. The 1955 Le Mans disaster sent shockwaves around the world. It led to immediate changes in motorsport safety, with many countries banning motor racing altogether. Chapter 10, 1961. Italian Grand Prix, a day of mourning. Monza, 1961. The Italian Grand Prix, a race steeped in history, a high-speed amphitheater where legends are made and dreams are shattered. Wolfgang von Trips, the aristocratic German driver, was locked in a fierce battle for the championship with his teammate Phil Hill. But on lap 2, as the cars approached the Parabolica corner, tragedy struck. Von Trips's Ferrari, touching wheels with Jim Clark's Lotus, was launched into the air. The Ferrari, a scarlet missile, soared over the barrier and into the packed grandstands. The impact was horrific. 14 spectators lost their lives, and dozens more were injured, many seriously. The 1961 Italian Grand Prix was a stark reminder of the inherent dangers of racing. It led to immediate changes in circuit design and safety regulations, a legacy that continues to shape motorsport to this day. These stories, these moments of triumph and tragedy are woven into the fabric of Formula One. They are a reminder of the courage it takes to push the limits of human endeavor, to chase speed and glory in a world where danger is an ever-present companion. But from the ashes of tragedy, hope emerges. The sport has learned from its darkest days, emerging stronger, safer, more determined than ever to honor the memory of those who gave their all. The cars are faster, the technology more advanced, but the lessons of the past are never forgotten. Dedicated to all the drivers who shaped the sport we love today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thrilling content. Until next time, stay safe and keep racing.